All righty, everybody. Welcome into Todd Takes. I think this is our fourth episode? Fourth
Yeah, something like that.
episode?
Yeah, like third or fourth, I think.
Yeah. Heck yeah. We've got the ball rolling, that's for sure. Um, but I'm Jonathan here with Casey, giving our Todd Takes. So we'll start with South Carolina this past week. And what are your thoughts on that game, Casey?
I mean, it's great that to have a win, right? What there's always so much to complain about. I mean, but a win is a win at the end of the day. Um, I think there were some big mistakes, not just from defense or offense. Like I think coaches made a lot of big mistakes. Like the end of the first half was just a nightmare. And a good team, South Carolina is a good team. We talked about how good their defense is, their front is. But if you make the mistakes that we made in the last couple minutes of that first half, that could put you in such a bind with a elite team. Like this team talks about they want to do what? Go win a national championship. But if you're making those kind of mistakes, how the Milrow pick with 8 seconds left, the safety. There's so many issues. Again, with special teams made another mistake that almost cost us. I think that's three straight. So there's just a lot of things that need to be cleaned up. But at the end of the day, we won the game. We had to make the plays at the end of the game to win. Coach sent pressure at the end to get after him, right? I know it's amazing what these athletes can do when you just let them run free, and then you put them on man to man on the back end instead of that soft zone where we rush three or four bigs. Um, it, overall, it just is what it is. There's a lot of mistakes, a lot of things to clean up, but at the end of the day, we won the game. We made some plays offensively and defensively that were good enough to get over the hump.
No, I mean I agree. I agree. Um, we'll talk about the defense in a little bit. I don't want to
Yeah.
get too into that yet. Um, I think the main takeaway, like you said, is we got a W. And I'll ask you a quick question. If before this season I told you we were 5-1 and we beat Georgia, what would be your thought?
Um, I would think that either the game that we lost was early or sometime after the Georgia game. I mean, those are really the only two things. I would still be upset if we beat
Would you
Georgia.
take that though in DeBoer's first year?
Yes, but to be honest with you, at the beginning of the season, I said if we beat Georgia, we go all the way.
I did too.
Not all the way win a national. I got like undefeated
We run
season.
we
Like
run our regular season.
we run our regular season, correct? So based off of who we played thus far, if we beat Georgia, no, I'm actually not satisfied. If you're talking about like national championship caliber, talent, team, all that stuff, put together. Um, so no, at the end of the day, but it's hard to complain about 5-1 because there's a lot of teams that aren't 5-1 or 6-0. So it's good to be in that situation, but no, at the end of the day, no.
Yeah, no, I mean I would take it, right? Because
Of
it's a
course,
lot better than the latter. You
yeah,
know?
1-5.
Exactly. Um, but I think it's gonna take, and there's been some talk that DeBoer and Womack are already making some changes, and we saw a little bit of that against South Carolina where they were running a four heavy man front, right?
Yeah, they
Or
got
or
rid
a
of the.
three
They got rid
with
of.
two bigger outside linebackers or those tweener defensive end positions on the field. I think that did help, but at the same time, you can't run that soft zone when you're doing that. We have to mix some more man up, right? We saw it at the end of the game where he sent pressure and look what happened. And then we saw in the first half against Georgia when he sent pressure. What happened? And me and you have talked about this. We're not getting pressure with 3 or 4. We're just not. We don't have 31 Will Anderson. We don't have 15 Dallas Turner anymore. So you're gonna have to send guys to get pressure.
And we don't have the Jonathan Allen, Quinnen Williams guys on the interior that can do their thing. Either
take 2 people on and win. So it's gonna boil down to, are the changes that they're gonna make be enough? Like Tennessee this week. Tennessee struggled the last couple weeks, just as we have. They got 2 wins though, so or 1 win. Because then they lose.
Yeah, they lost to Arkansas.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So they lost the same week we lost to Vandy. So they've struggled the last couple weeks too.
Yeah. Their game was almost.
It's going to be interesting to see what Womack and DeBoer have drawn up for this young quarterback. Like, are they going to be able to draw stuff up like first half against Georgia, where it confuses the heck out of him and he's throwing it right to defenders?
Yeah.
And as much as we want to blame DeBoer and Womack, sometimes players got to make plays, dude.
Agreed.
And against South Carolina, 0 struggled. He was on struggle bus, dude. He wasn't reading it. He was caught flat-footed. He was getting run over.
11 a few times too.
Yep. I mean that, and I get it. It's hard when you're getting guys on you, but still, like, at some point you got to shoot the gaps and make the play. Like that's one thing that Saban had his entire career advantage, right? With the C.J. Mosleys, Dante Hightowers, right? Those guys, they would snap the ball, and those dudes were in the backfield because they knew what the play was. Like they recognized.
Look at even last year under Steele, what those guys were able to do. Coming out of last year, going into this year, they said we were going to have the best 2. Sorry, not the best 2, but the best linebacker tandem in all of college football. Or a lot of analysts on, across all the sites said that.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about that earlier too, was our defense was so much better last year. And I get it, we lost 3 corners, 2 really good corners.
3.
Yeah, 3. I mean, I don't know. Amos was good. He was good. I don't think he was like really good. He might have been.
If you're talking about cornerback depth and rotation and stuff, like, oh man, he's a really good guy to have it.
Yeah, that's fair. But I don't think we've taken a huge step back there. And for us to, like, this defense is on pace to be the worst Alabama defense since 1998. That is 26 years ago. That's not going to win you championships, dude. Like, it's not going to win you championships. That is terrible.
I was going through my closet today and I was like, what Alabama shirts do I have? And I put on this one as the 4th and 31 shirt. You know what I saw? I saw a Charlie Pepper jersey from 05.
And I still got my Roman Harper jersey, dude.
Dude, that 05, I was like, man, what? I was looking at it and I was like, wow, if this team had a defense like that, man.
Dude. God. Nuts. Dude, even if we had a defense like, I mean, anywhere from like 2009 to 2019.
Well, my problem, the thing is, dude, the tackling has been the worst that I've seen since probably 2022. And what was the game? What was the year? Maybe it was 2019, maybe, where Auburn's running back blew Xavier McKinney up in the hole to score a touchdown. That year was it wasn't just because of that play, but that entire year tackling was very poor. Yeah.
I think that was 19 actually with Pete. I think that was Pete's first year.
Yeah. And that's when Mac Jones, pass off of Najee's butt into them from that was that year. Yeah. But no, tackling's been about as bad as it's been since that year. But what I really would like to see, dude, is a lot more, again, for like the third, fourth week in a row that we've done this, a lot more 5-man, 6-man pressure, and let the athletes do their thing on the other end. Let them man up and cover and see if whoever's quarterback is, man enough to stay in there. And if you're going to rush 6, especially against Nico, maybe rush 5, have 6 be a spy, or rush 4 and have 5 be like an intermediate spy where he's kind of sitting back and then quickly shooting the open lane that's available if there is one, whatever. But Tennessee's got a lot of skill guys on the outside. I'm almost worried that coaches are going to be nervous to man up on them. I think they're going to be worried about that. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more soft zone coming up, bud. And I think we're going to see 2 to 4 drives where they just pick, and they go score a touchdown.
I'm worried about their running attack, dude. Like, especially if we're in a 3-man front, they got a solid running game.
Well, we're gonna have to do the same thing that we just did against South Carolina and have 4 heavy guys up there. Is the Bandit the heavy guy? I think yeah, Bandit.
Dude, I
heavy, and Wolf is like that outside edge rusher guy, whatever. So they'll go with.
I think the Wolf is like the new version of Jack. That strong side outside linebacker.
Yeah, I think Bandit is that third defensive lineman, so to speak, but he's got more edge capabilities as far as rushing the quarterback.
So I would say what has me worried the most is there have been blueprints on how to stop our offense this year so far and how to attack our defense. And Milroe is still, which after the Georgia game, we were like, dude, if he plays like this, he's going to be great. He's going to win the Heisman, blah, blah, blah. But he still like struggles to see blitz pickup, to see blitzes, to recognize blitzes, to recognize where his outlets are when there's pressure. And he runs into sacks so much.
He runs into pressure a lot.
So much. The safety, he ran right to the spy. And it was like, oh, God, there's a spy there. It's like, dude, what do you mean? There's 11 other guys on the field. You don't know where they're at? Like the pick he threw in the end zone to 5. Ryan Williams was wide open on the other side of the field. But he gets in that Michigan
one read. He gets in that one read. Mm-hmm.
He gets in that he's feeling pressure that's not there. And when he does, like, I get it. You want him to keep his eyes downfield because he's a quarterback. But I feel like how often, like in NCAA 25 or NCAA ever, right? You would drop back, send 4 verticals. You drop back like, oh, I'm going to throw this sucker, and then just immediately take off running. Right?
Done it, yeah.
Yeah, like that. We need some of that. Like that's
almost
what
like
makes
a QB
quarterbacks.
Almost like a QB draw,
but not like it's a pass play. But like as soon as he doesn't like what he sees, tuck that. You are the fastest, most athletic player on the field. Run the ball, tuck it and go.
Run the ball.
Just go. Mm-hmm. Like don't fart around back there. And then he's not even looking downfield. He's looking at all the pressure around him. And then instead of just simply throwing it out of bounds, he just takes a sack. And that's what killed us last year. And that's why our sack numbers were so screwed.
Facts. It wasn't all on the offensive line. Now, the offensive line didn't necessarily help him a lot of times.
No.
But at the end of the day, it's almost a half and half thing, almost, when it comes to offensive line and quarterbacks, when it comes to sacks. Because how many times can Milroe is so athletic? How many times could he just catch it? Oh, crap. 3-4 hard steps to his right and sling it out of bounds. He's super athletic for that. Bless you.
Thank you. I tried to mute it before it got on.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I was like, oh, that was weird. Yeah, like I feel like he could definitely just take a few steps and get rid of it. I think, like you said, sometimes when there's a lot of pressure to him, or if you don't like what's going on, just run. Just run. I promise you, it's not Jalen Hurts running, dude. Like I'll be okay if Jalen Milroe takes off, 15 times a game.
Right. It's different when you're that level of athlete he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like Greg McElroy, we talked about this. Greg McElroy, AJ McCarron, Mac Jones. How many times did we see they would take 3 steps back, and as soon as their back foot hit the turf, they sent the ball 20 rows up. They're like, I didn't like it. See ya. But
Wherever their go route was, they would just turn, sling it out of
throw
bounds.
that sucker 40 yards out of bounds. Like, I don't like it. Live another down. Milroe, if he just takes off and gets 2 yards, that's better than just throwing it out of bounds. But just go get a couple yards, dude. You don't like it, go get a couple yards.
Yeah, because 3rd and 6, if he does that 2 straight plays, 3rd and 6 is a hell of a lot better than 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15.
Right?
I think you're gone.
Yeah, you're lagging out. But I think that's one thing he's gonna have to improve on. And on the flip side of that, our defense, the changes that they are gonna have to make will determine our season. 100%.
Who? I didn't. You just lag. Hey, you just lagged for like 30 seconds. I didn't see you.
Yeah, that was that. You did. I don't know who was lagging because I couldn't. You were just frozen.
So were you. I was talking while you were frozen, and when you came back, you were talking while I was frozen.
I guess we'll see who it records.
That's funny.
But if Milroe's playing like that, we have to have a really good defensive performance.
Yeah.
And another thing that's been worrying me is our lack of situational awareness on the team as a whole, offensively, defensively, special teams wise. Like Bernard, if Bernard just steps out of bounds, takes a knee anywhere after he catches that ball, game's over. Game's over. We need 3 times, game's over. No stress, no having to worry about an onside kick. Defense doesn't come back on the field. We win the game right there. Bam. Done. But I mean, it's expecting a lot of, 17, 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids. 17, Ryan Williams, probably the only one. But, you're expecting these kids to know that, but that's still on coaching, right? Like, they should have told him that before they were like, hey, if any of y'all catch this ball for a first down, go down. Go down. Game's over. Don't score.
I agree. There's also that element of, the kid caught a deep ball like on like the 6, 7, 8 yard line or whatever, and he just turns it upfield real quick and just scores a touchdown. I mean,
I'm not faulting the kid, right?
No.
The touchdown, but
score the touchdown, kid.
The coaches should have said, "Hey, just take a knee, dude. Just take a knee."
And I think if the coaching staff did that, he would have done that. And so, based off the fact that the kid just ran in the end zone like anybody would, hell, I would right now, like today. Today, I'd run my happy ass right in that. I would run into the end zone. So that's what any kid would do. So if you expect something else, coaches, tell them. Because, there's only a couple minutes left. The kid's like, oh, if I score, it's over anyway.
Less than 2 minutes left.
Less than 2 minutes. So the kid was like, if I score, it's over. I understand where the kid's coming from in his mind. My boy's got my back on the defensive side. He wasn't expecting a touchdown and then onside kick. But at the end of the day, it does fall back to coaching, which also goes back to what I was saying at the end of the first half. The end of the first half, the end of the second half, poor coaching decisions. I don't know what's going to happen with special teams, but we had the mistake against Georgia that pinned us back that was very costly on the kickoff. Against Vandy, we had a
everything.
What happened?
Two guys with the same number.
That's what it was. 2 guys with the same number. Major mistake. put them up 2 touchdowns after that mistake. And then, South Carolina literally like almost costed us the game. Like, so I don't know who that guy is.
Bro, I want to talk about our hands team. There were way too many fullback type white boys out there on that hands team. And I get it. You want your front line to be able to block so that the dudes with the hands can catch it. But, like, you need some more dudes out there with hands. Oh, like, what is Oots out there doing on Dude is built like a bowling ball, man. What are you? That dude trying to get down on the ground to pick the ball up might have been one of the most unathletic things I've ever seen on a football field. My God. I mean, I get ball. Like, like, bro, pretend that thing's a basket of breadsticks from Olive Garden. Like, devour that thing, man. What are we doing?
Goofy ass Oots, bro.
Oots, man.
That is so funny.
But like what? Like some of the decisions, and I think a lot of it is DeBoer's inexperience with this league. I think it'll come, and we already saw some of the changes DeBoer has made and Womack have made, and DeBoer is. I'm gonna give DeBoer the benefit of the doubt for now, right? Regardless of how this season ends up, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Yes. Casey. Yes. You raised your hand.
I don't think a lot of Alabama fans gave Saban the benefit of the doubt when the team wasn't playing to the standard that he wanted the team to play to. So I feel like if we didn't give him the benefit of the doubt, we can't give DeBoer the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, so I think yes, you are correct, right? But I think for us to expect that, like, yes, Bama, we expect national championships. I get it. We do. But to expect that kind of run again or anywhere throughout college football you just be stupid. Like, just stupid. This sport has been going on for nearly 200 years.
And it's never seen
150
something
years,
like that.
whatever it is. And what Saban did had never happened, never even come close to happening. And if it ever does happen again, it'll be even more impressive.
Especially with the 12-team playoff now. I think they almost made it like not impossible, but statistically impossible for Kirby to go on a run like that.
I mean, just about anybody, especially with the leagues expanding, that makes it harder.
The talent dispersing everywhere instead of just centralized to the top 5 teams. Truly,
I mean, I think. Okay, I still think you're gonna have a talent discrepancy overall. Yes, you're gonna see some teams with solid talent. Couple really really high rated guys, but you're still gonna see the top teams with the top talent, right? Like Ohio State. Oh, it boils down to money. What college football teams have the money to really compete? Ohio State, Texas, Bama, Georgia, Florida, Miami, no, Michigan. There's another handful of teams, right? 30, 35 teams maybe that have the capital to really compete, especially with the way NIL is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. The talent will be dispersed outside of the top 5 teams, but it's still not going to do what ESPN and what everybody else thinks of it. Like, it's still going to be in those top 30 teams, the traditional blue bloods of college football.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to just go Georgia Southern's not going to magically become a top tier program in Division One football. It's
No,
not
it's
going
not
to
going to
happen,
happen.
right? Like unless some kid wins, a $3 billion lottery and just gives it all to Georgia Southern. Like that'd be the only way. Some out of something crazy like that. The Bamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, Florida will be back eventually. Those kind of teams will remain the top teams. So I think I personally I'm still gonna give DeBoer the benefit of the doubt. Just like Saban had already won a national championship with an SEC team, right? So we knew, hey, this guy can 100% do it in the SEC. He knows what it takes. He's been in the NFL. He knows what's gonna happen. Like he knows how tough this is. DeBoer doesn't. DeBoer coached at Washington for 2 years, 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
No disrespect, but
Yeah, no
Oregon
disrespect,
Oregon was the best competition for him. The
yeah,
toughest.
like he had to get up. He had to get the team up for truly one game a year, 2 games a year.
Hold on one
Oregon,
second.
and then Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. So he's gonna have to learn how to win consistently in this league. And I think he's learning it, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt to make the changes. Like we gave Saban, right? I'm not saying we didn't give Saban that same benefit of the doubt, right? Like we lost to an unranked Texas A&M. Oh, Saban will get that fixed, right?
Yeah.
Saban's gonna get that fixed. We'll be fine. I'm gonna give DeBoer that benefit of the doubt. I'm definitely more hesitant to say it than I was when Saban was there. I'm definitely more worried about it than when Saban was there.
Yeah.
Right?
Can't blame you for that.
He's our coach, right? And
Yep.
Burns has made some really good hires. So I'm gonna trust in that guy because our basketball program has never been more relevant in history than it is right now.
Yeah. Not
So
as
I'm
far
gonna
as just like having a good season, because we've had good seasons before, but as far as like me preseason number 2, there's a real argument for us to be number 1. When have we ever in my lifetime? I don't think we've ever been in conversation to get the number 1 recruit, and not just number 1 recruit. You're talking like the generational guy. You know what I mean? The guy who's supposed to come in and put you in the Final Four. I don't think we've ever been able to get guys like that. Where
Colin Sexton might be the only one. Brandon Miller, but that was still under oath, right?
Right. And I'm not saying we've never been good as not like, but no, Oates was Miller was Oates for sure. Sexton was God, who's the guy before Oates?
I believe that was Avery Johnson that recruited Sexton.
Yes.
But that's my point, right? Like Burns has made some really great hires for coaches in every other sport that we have. I'm going to give him and I'm going to give DeBoer the benefit of the doubt at this point, saying they're going to fix it. They're going to have the team better. If we come out in the first half and if we can play against Tennessee like we played in the first half against Georgia, the game will not be close. But we have not seen that consistency at all this year.
Well, the problem is, like, if you look at majority of the Wisconsin game, if you look at obviously the Western Kentucky game, the last 5 minutes of South Florida, first half of Georgia, just forget Vandy, and most of the first half against South Carolina, those Bama teams that you saw, that wasn't a mistake. We are that good of a team. But at the same time, all the bad stuff you saw the first
We're
three and a
still
half
that
quarters,
team too.
we're still that team too. So the problem is like the ceiling is super, super, super high. The ceiling is the best in the country. Argue, you're an idiot if you don't think that the ceiling of this team is the best in the country, but the floor is 10 to 15 team in the country. Potential,
Yes.
that's about as low.
Ooh, I'd probably go lower than that, dude. I mean, this is a potential 3-loss team, 4-loss team.
Well, if you have a 3-loss Bama team, range.
I mean, if we play to our floor, we can lose to Auburn, we can lose to Missouri, we can lose to Tennessee, we can lose to LSU. We could be 5-loss. Oklahoma. Yeah.
It could be a 6-loss team.
I don't think we will.
No,
but
there's a case. There's a possibility. It's not probable. It's not probable, but it's possible.
And that
bottom line, cuz
I think DeBoer is going to get it fixed. I'm hoping DeBoer gets it fixed because I do like it.
You don't win as many games as he's won without fixing problems during a season. You just don't. I don't care what level, what type of competition. You say, well, he was at Fresno State. Well, the Fresno State players he had were really good in comparison to the conference that he was in. Washington, a lot of the players that he had at Washington were really good in comparison to what was in the rest of the conference. Look at what he has at Alabama. A lot of the players he has are really good in comparison to what else is out there in the conference. I'm not saying really good as far as they're way, way better. I'm just saying they're really good in comparison, So he's got top talent in the SEC. And he's had top talent and been able to accumulate top talent, as relative to the conference that he's in. And he's always been able to win there. So I'm just going to have my faith in the guy and just keep on chugging along.
Yeah. And I think, right, like defensive coordinators have their scheme, right? Like the main thing they like to do. But I'm looking at it because I was interested and I wanted to go look up, where Womack has coached. And the only other time, he was a DC at Eastern Illinois, 14 to 15. He was a DC at Indiana from 19 to 20.
With the board. Yep.
So to be fair to him, I know his dad was, a journeyman SEC defensive coordinator, but he personally has not coached defense in the SEC either, right? Like DeBoer and both of our coordinators have not called plays against SEC teams consistently. And I think they're kind of learning on the go too. It's gonna depend on, are they willing to do what they're gonna have to do to change? Right? That's what made Saban so great, was his ability to adapt. Oh, I see. We're going to need an offense that can score points now. The game's changed. So what's he do? He goes and starts getting all the top offensive talent and slinging the ball all over the place. DeBoer's going to have to do that defensively.
He saw which offenses were starting to beat him in the early teens. That 2010 to 2015, 16 era. Years. He was like, man, like what offenses are torching my defense? And he went and got that. He went and got the coordinators for it, and he went and got the players for it.
Yep. So going to be DeBoer's. That's DeBoer's first big challenge, in my opinion. Is he going to be able to get Womack to make the changes properly, or is he going to have to change Womack out for someone else? And I think we're starting to see a little bit of the changes get implemented. We saw it against South Carolina. I don't know if they felt, hey, we should win this game pretty handily, kind of like Vanderbilt, where we're going to keep it kind of bland.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're learning that, hey, you can't just keep it bland in the SEC, dude.
Mm-mm.
You can against Western Kentucky,
Yeah.
but you can't keep it bland in the SEC. You're not going to get handed wins in the SEC. You are going to have to go win it every week. You can't come out flat-footed. Oh, this is a bye week, basically.
I agree with your point entirely, but I think South Carolina gave us that game last week. They made so many just.
Oh, dude! If the kid doesn't, if that quarterback doesn't fumble on the read option, we lose that game.
Yep,
100%.
I think I texted you. I said if South Carolina has a competent offense right now, we are losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not to mention the deep ball that the receiver dropped after the break stack on like the 10-yard line. I mean, just they made so many offensive mistakes that could have put that game away so long ago.
Yeah, I mean it's the basic thing is DeBoer's gonna have to get pressure. You have to get pressure on a quarterback. South Carolina's quarterback up to our game was like a 55-ish% passer. And then late in the fourth quarter, the dude was like 21 for 25. You're not going to win games when the opposing quarterback is passing for 80. His accuracy is over 80%.
Yeah, when he's 25, 30% above where he normally is, you might be in for a long night.
Yeah, dude, really. Like, what did he finish up? 23 for 31, but his last 3 throws were incompletions.
Yeah, and those were like, not make a wish, sorry. Like have a prayer throw. Yeah.
So he was really 23 for 30, 23 for 28.
Yeah.
82%. Like,
that's pretty good.
You can't make it easy, man.
Hey, and one of those incompletions was a drop touchdown. Like, so it should have been 24 for 28 if you really, want to put it all in perspective.
So they're going to have to tighten up the defense. That's for sure. And then DeBoer is going to have to get Milroe back playing confident football. But we'll pick back up with part 2 here in a second. We're running out of time on this one, so we're going to take a quick break, check on the kids and the dogs, and then we'll get back to it. But thank you guys for joining us here on Tide Takes. We appreciate your time. If you have any takes you would like us to talk about, give our opinions on, drop them in the comments. Email us at tidetakes1@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys in just a second.
Yep. See you guys.